Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Barbara Bach, and I'm joined this afternoon by Heather Reeves.
Hello.
And we are both in the MLS Tech Support Department here at Metro Tech's Association of Realtors, and we are so glad you've joined us today for the Realist Tax webinar. During this webinar, as you think of any questions, please type them in the question pane located at the right side of your screen. Now, if you can't see the question pane, you may have to click that orange arrow button to maximize it. Heather and I will do our very best to answer as many questions as possible as time allows by the end of the presentation. Just to remind you, we also have a 3-hour CE tax class at all of our various locations if you want more information. Now today, I am using tax on a PC. However, you may use the Realist app on your smartphone. I want to show you what it looks like. It works just a little bit different. It's not as full functioning as it is on a PC, as you can see right here. And then here's another screenshot of what it looks like when you search by an address. But today I'm only going to do it on a PC. So get yourself comfortable, grab a cup of coffee, big old glass of iced tea, and let's get started with Realist Tax. As you can see, I am on the main page of MetroTex, mymetrotex.com, and this is where I would select MLS login, and it would take me to the portal. Now, you certainly can go to tax from the portal, but I like to go to Matrix. So I have done that. I have logged in to Matrix, and as you can see, right up here is a blue tab that says Realist Tax. And I'm going to click on that, and it opens up Realist Tax. And here it is right here. First thing you should notice in the top left-hand corner of the screen is the county that I am searching. If I needed to change the county, I would click Change Region, and you can select up to 10 counties at one time. I'm not sure why you'd want to search 10 counties at one time, but you certainly could. You would just select the counties you want, and it jumps over here to the right. If there's a county there you don't need, you just click the X, and you're all good, and you click Apply. The next thing that you'll notice is I have a split screen. I have the map, and I have a one-line grid. Well, I don't care to see the grid, so right here underneath the map, guess what I did? I just changed it. There we go. Right here, under the right-hand corner of the map, if I click Map, I'll just see the map. If I go up here to the top right and click Grid, I just see the grid. And of course, if I click Split, I will see both the map and the grid. I prefer just to see the grid because the map will come up in a little bit. So as you can see, I have the grid information. Now, I do want to mention to you that Realist Tax is updated on a monthly basis. The update is going to include any address changes, new owners, maybe some mortgage and sale information. At the end of the year, about October or November, Realist receives tax information from all the various counties. And generally by the end of December, the new certified information has been entered into Realist for you to search. If you ever encounter some discrepancy between, let's say, DCAD and Realist Tax, please feel free to contact the MLS department, and we'll be glad to look at that and see what we can do to change that, what's wrong. All right, so the first thing you see is the screen, and I've got a grid here. Just like MLS, I can change this grid to just the fields I want to see. So that's the first thing I'm going to do because this is like way too much information. So I'm going to go down here to the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and I'm going to click Edit Grid, and I'm going to click Show Hide Columns. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, oh my goodness, I got way too much information. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to start eliminating what I don't want to see. The tax ID is good, the address, the owner's name. I'm not into zoning. I do want to see the MLS number, and the photo indicator if the listing is in MLS, and the listing indicator. You're going to really like these three items when I show them to you in just a moment. Well, I may want the city, and then there's location city. I need to explain to you the difference of city and location city. The city in MLS, we rely on the city in MLS to be the taxing municipality, which does not always match the postal city. In Realist Tax, city will match the mail city for the property address, and location city will match the taxing municipality. All right? So I don't need location city. 9 times out of 10, city is city, so I'm just going to eliminate location city. I do want to see the subdivision, owners. I'm not interested in the sale date or the sale price because I can get that from MLS. Assessed value, if I really wanted it, I could leave it there, but I can click on the full record, so I'm going to get rid of it. I don't want to see beds or bath. Land use, I'm not interested in it. I'll show you how to search by that in a moment. I don't need acres. Stories. Square footage I like. So you ask what is effective year built compared to year built. So I have a house that was built in 1938, and I had it refurbished inside. I had all new plumbing, all new electrical wiring, knocked down a few walls, got all my permits through the city and the county and whoever I needed to get permits from. So on the tax rolls, it will say my house was built in 1938, but the effective year built will be 2016. So that's important information that you need to know. So year built is actually when it was originally built, and effective year built when they've gotten permits and so forth from the county and the city to rehab the house. So effectively, when you walk inside the house or could see through the walls where the wiring is, it would be 2016. Now, this is all the information I want, but it's not in the order that I want. So the first thing, reading from left to right, I'm going to click and hold and grab this field. I want to see the MLS photo indicator first. Oh wait, I've changed my mind. I think the MLS number will be first. Whoa, there we go. And then the listing indicator, and you'll see what those do in just about 2 shakes here. The address is very important to me. Oh, and I moved it in the wrong spot. There it goes. And the owner's name. And if it's owner occupied, I'm going to show you in a moment how you can search owner occupancy. And then I have subdivision, there's owner name too. So I'm just moving things in the order that I like them to be. I'm happy with all of that. If I wanted to add anything else, I could go over here and pick something. But I'm good. I'm going to click apply in the lower right hand corner. So the first thing you'll see, we're on a quick search. Very, very quick. That's why they named it a quick search. So I know that was a bad joke, Heather. I apologize for that, everybody. All right. So let's do a very quick search. I'm going to pull up an address. Now, you'll notice it says the main street. You don't have to put street or road or drive. It says city, state, and zip. I'm in Dallas County, and I'm just simply going to type in 4700 Preston, Preston. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to click search in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Because there is only one 4700 Preston Road in Dallas, that's the only one that comes up. Now, if there were more than one 4700 Preston Road in the county of Dallas, I would get a list of those. But in this case, I get one property, and some of you might recognize the gentleman that owns this property, Mr. Harlan Crow. So I can see up here all the information about the property. And as I scroll down, it gives me more information, the assessed year, any exemptions, how big the house is. It's coding here as single family residential. I'm reading on the left side of the screen. It's just a small little bungalow for 34,000 square feet. And you think you could live in that one, Heather?
Oh yeah, I think my whole family could.
There you go. So any additional features are always listed down here at the bottom, the estimated value. So that is one particular property. I will talk more about these tabs up here in just a moment. So I'm going to go over here to the top right-hand corner and click Close Report. Very easy to put in an owner's an address. Now the owner's name. Notice it says last name, first name, or corporation. So for a corporation, just for fun, I'm going to type in Wells Fargo. and I'm going to click search. Now remember, I better get rid of that address. It's going to find all the properties where Wells Fargo is the owner of record in Dallas County. I'm going to get a list of properties. I think the first thing that will come to your attention is the balloons and the camera, and you'll see an MLS number. That's why I encourage you to put it first. So now I want to sort this. I want to sort it by MLS number so I know which ones have been in MLS. When I take my mouse and I hover it right up at the top of the column name, MLS number, I get a little tiny number 1 and an up arrow. You should be able to see that right there. And when I click on it, notice it's sorted. I have 90 properties, it says right up here in the top left, and I sorted by MLS number. Now you see the camera. The camera indicates it has photos. I'm going to click this one right here, and the photos are going to come up, and there they are. So I can certainly go through the photo. That's a pretty dark photo. So I can see the photos, and I'm going to get rid of those. Now you see some colorful balloons, and you're wondering, what do those indicate? If I hover over the red balloons, it tells me it is a sold closed sale. Green means it's active, yellow means it's pending, and purple means it's expired. So I suggest when you do a search and you see properties that have MLS numbers, sort it by the MLS number. See, if I sorted it by camera, it'd be totally different, and some of these don't have a balloon or a camera, but they have an MLS number. So you're better off sorting that way. So that's how you can search by a company name. Well, let me change this. First of all, notice I'm not having to erase what I see here on the screen. I can put in a particular address if I wanted to, or an owner's name. I think you'll recognize this name I'm going to put in, Staubach, comma, Roger. And there you go. So there's 3 properties owned by Roger Staubach. So that's how easy it is to search on a quick search. Very simply, put in a name or an address, and you're good to go.
You have to put the owner's full name?
No, you don't have to put the owner's full name. Guess what I'm going to do? I am just going to put the last name of Staubach and watch what happens.
Okay, very nice.
Okay, now I'm going to get rid of that, and it shows you last name, comma, first, or corporate name. So if I put in the last name of Bach, watch what happens here. Not only will I get Bach, but I'll get Bachman, Lard, I can't even pronounce that name, because, please look over here on the left, it's a starts with field. So it's going to look for Bach, Boccolini, Bachman. If I change the word it starts with to is, it will only pull up those properties owned by anybody that owns the last name of Bach.
Okay.
That's it.
We actually have a question.
Yes, what's the question?
Pertaining to your search. It
Yeah.
says, does it allow to do a wildcard search like you do in MLS? Say you're looking for a bank, can you use an asterisk or something to look for anything that has the word bank?
No, you don't have to have a wild card, because you'll notice it starts with. So we know it's either Wells, something or other, Wells Fargo. We can put in Chase. Now be careful if you put in Chase, not only could it be a bank, because I think it has a different name, but you'll get an individual. So there's no wild card needed in the tax rolls. You just remember you have the starts with, and I'm going to show you that when we get into this more in-depth search.
Okay, great.
So those are your little quick searches. All right, now let's go into some more deep searching. I'm going to click the My Search tab. Under the My Search tab, you have some icons. If I wanted to create my own search screen, which is right here, this is on my search screen, I could create one from scratch. I'll make it a little more easier for you than having you do that. This folder, you can save search criteria, and you can save different search fields. Like I have here, you can save your own custom search. There's how you save it with the Save button. Here's how you erase something that you've put in and you go, I don't want it. You can erase it. and then you have recent history, and you can see my recent history. So the first thing, if I wanted to search something, I could search by city, and that's very easy, and I've got zip code, recording date. You know, if you wanted to search a recording date, you could, and notice it is between, is greater than, is less than. So you could put in a date, is between, is greater than, is less than. I like is between. Now some of these fields I don't particularly care for. I would never search by zoning. I don't know many zoning codes other than SFR and MF for multifamily. That's all I know. Probably not search total units, so I'm going to create my own custom search screen. So here's how you do it. Go down here at the bottom left of the screen to the right of the search button, and you click Edit Attributes. Over here on the right, this looks familiar, doesn't it? When we were setting up our one-line format or our grid, same concept. But these are fields I want to search by. Well, I don't care about recording date, so I'm going to get rid of it. And again, I'm not going to search by a sales price or a sales date. Obviously, I'm not going to search by zoning. I'll never search by total units. Maybe, but I'm going to get rid of it. Those I'm going to keep. Now, let's talk about the things you can search by. Over here in this column on the left, it says house with a pound sign. I want to be able to search for house number. This is going to allow me, Heather, to search a block range. If I had selected address, I could only search by one address. So I want the house number, but now I've got to find street name. And it's down here on the right where it says street name. I also want to search by subdivision. That's important to me, so I select subdivision. Now look over here, folks. Owner occupied. Yay. I want to search if it's owner occupied. I can search by owner name and owner last name. I'm going to pick them both so you can see exactly how that works. I'm going to go up here a little bit, and I can search for foreclosure stage. I'm going to select that. And you know, some of you might want to search by exemption. So you'll notice we have disabled, senior, homestead, and veterans. I'm going to go ahead and do senior, and I'm going to do veterans. So if some of you are a veteran, you can walk the walk and talk the talk with other veterans if you want to do a mail out of those properties where there is a veteran exemption code on the property, and the same with the senior exemption. So I think I'm pretty good of what I want to be able to search by. I'm going to go down here and look one more time. I can search by school district if I wanted to. You don't want to get too caught up in so many fields because most of them you won't search by. What's the first thing you normally search by? Address, then an owner name, and a subdivision. Those are the three big things that you tend to search by. So I'm going to put those fields up first in order of importance or frequency of searching. I'm going to grab my house number, click, hold, drag. Look carefully, there's a solid black line, and when I stop right there, that's where my house number is going to go. Then I want the street name right next to it or right under it. And then, of course, city and zip. Oh, but you know, owner occupied. That's pretty exciting. So I'll move owner occupied, subdivision, and so forth. So I've got them in the order that I like. I'm all good, and I click apply. Now that was the first step. Now the second step is I have to save this. I have to give it a name. If you'll notice right here, it says general search. Well, that's the standard name. I have to name it my own. So I'm going to click this little blue disc. I'm going to save it as a form, and you'll notice I don't have any saved, so that's good. So I'm going to call it My Special Search. You can call it anything you'd like, and I click Save. And you'll notice right here it now says My Special Search. That will always be there. It will never be deleted. You'll notice the house number says is. Well, I want to do a block range. So I click the is button, and I select is between. So is between. Let me try 3,200 to 3,399 on a street called Grantwood, Grantwood. I know it's in Dallas County. Now, if I wanted to, I could put in the city, but I'm going to leave it just like that, and I'm going to click search. Well, there you have it. I'm going to sort by MLS number, and there are the properties. There's 12 of them between 3,200 and 3,399 Grantwood in Dallas County. Very simple, and they're all owner-occupied. All right. I'm going to erase this criteria and everything that's on the screen right here. Yellow piece of paper with the red circle and the white dash. So I've erased everything. So I could actually search by a street name all by itself if I wanted to. So just to show you that, I'll type in Van Pelt and click search. I don't have to put in a house number. And again, I'm encouraged to sort by MLS number. And there are 66 properties. It's right up here in the top left. 66 properties that match on Van Pelt. You'll see they all have drive. Oh, we have a few that say no owner occupied. Owner occupied, no. That's why I like to add this to my grid. There's another one. So I'm going to erase that, and that's how we can search by an owner's an address. Owner occupied. So I'm going to select the down arrow and say no, and I'm going to put in a subdivision. Now subdivision works a little bit differently. I have to click select from a list, and there's no list, but I have to put in the name of the subdivision that I'm interested in. So let me try Royal Chapel, and I click search. Well, there's only one, and that's the one I want, so I click on it. I click this button right here in the center to move it over to selected, and I click apply in the lower right hand corner. All right, now I do the search. So this tells me that when I look at this record, the owner of record does not live in this property. Owner does not live in this property. And let's pull one up. So I'll pull this one up right here. I'm simply going to double click it, and I'll double click it again. There we go. So you'll notice the physical property address is right up here in the top left, 1060 Royal Chapel Drive. It was an MLS, or may still be an MLS, is sold or active. We'll look at that in a moment. Here is the gentleman that owns it, but they live here. Owner occupied, no. So as I scroll down, Royal Chapel Estates, see there it is right there, right here in the top right. And as I continue to scroll down, there's the characteristics of the house. It's 2,300 square feet. Total square foot is 2,766. Look at the garage, it's 462. So when you add that, that's your total square feet. Continuing to scroll down, there's the listing information. So I can see it was leased in 2015 for $2,100 a month. And this is who the listing office was and the leasing office. So when you see, I'm going back up here, when it says MLS beds, that means it is in MLS, as active, sold, or leased. I'm going to go over here to the right side of the screen. You can see all the other ones that I found. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to select this one on Merrill Road. It has no photo, but it was or has been in MLS. Let's see if I can find one that's, and this is an example of one that doesn't have an MLS number. It doesn't say anything about MLS. So I'm going to close this report in the top right hand corner, and I'm back here where I've selected and sorted all by MLS number. And these are all owner occupied, no. Now if I change that search where it says owner occupied here on the left, I want everybody that lives on that property. Now keep in mind, I found 18 non-occupied owners. I'm now going to click search and see how many we find in Royal Chapel Estates. 146.
That's a big jump right there.
There it is. So we've got 146 residents that own the home and live there, plus the ones that didn't live there. And again, now I suggested you sort by MLS number, but you know what? You don't have to. I can sort by owner name. I'm curious if the same owner might own more than one house. So I'm going to sort by the owner name. I clicked once and it sorted from the end of the alphabet. I'm going to click it again, and now, and here's a same last name. And let's see if we have anybody else that owns this. Same owner owns two properties. I don't see anything, but a lot of times you'll see that, especially if it's a big search. If you're in an area where there's some commercial information going on, commercial properties, you'll see that. So that's sorting by owner name. I'm going to clear this. So we just search by owner occupied with a subdivision, which is pretty easy, I think. Pretty easy. Now we've searched by a subdivision, like I said. Foreclosure stage. Foreclosure stage. Let me go down here and find, there's exemption. There it is, foreclosure stage. Whoopsie. So I'm going to select, right here, I'm going to select bank owned. And do I have zip code on this? Yeah, Heather, do you have a zip code in Dallas County? I might be able to search, one off the top of your head. I've got one. She's looking at me like, I don't know, 75228. I'll try 75228. So I am saying foreclosure stage, bank owned, Dallas County, 75228. So let's see what we get. Excuse me. 59 properties. Now I'm going to search by owner's name. So let's see what we've got. We've got the City of Dallas. We've got Federal National Mortgage Association. We got 4 of those. We've got the Hanna Company. This is a really good tool, folks, looking for those properties that are bank owned. Now I'm going to change my search from bank owned to auction. I'm keeping the same zip code, 75228. I'm going to click search and let's see what we get. We've got 40, and this time I'm going to select and sort by the owner name, and you will see the different owners, and there's only 40. So that's auction. Let's look at one of those, shall we? So I can either double click one, or notice in the lower left hand corner of the screen it says view reports right down here, lower left. I click on that, and over here on the right it says I'm looking at 1 of 40 right here, 1 of 40. If I select this one, it says I'm looking at 2 of 40, so it changes my screen. So we'll look at this one. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was in MLS. And let's scroll down and look at the information that we're interested in about the foreclosure stage and so forth. There's the MLS number. Foreclosure history, notice of trustee sale, July 11th of 2016. So it gives you information, original document date, document number. And there's May 31st of 2016 and June 13th of 2016. And at the very end, it shows you this, the lot dimensions, and where it is on the map. And that, of course, is when we searched. I'm going to close the report. We searched over here, auction in 75228. We got 40. One more under auction stage. I'm going to select pre-foreclosure and see if we get anything. We sure do. We get 51. 51. And again, I can sort by any one of these columns. If I want to search by owner occupied, I could. Address, MLS number, owner name, whatever meets your needs, you can sort by that particular column. And I sorted by owner name. So just a quick review. If you are interested in bank-owned, auction, pre-foreclosure, we have that field, and I simply did it by zip code 75228. Now, I can add more than one zip code, Heather. Did you know that?
I didn't know
Now,
that.
well, I'm going to show you how. So I'm interested in 2 zip codes. Look right here. There's a little plus sign. I click on that. It drops down right there. Now I can go to 75227. Oh, wait, I want another zip code. I hit the plus sign, 75252. And I can go along and enter several zip codes. And of course, I can go down here and select bank-owned auction. I'll keep pre-foreclosure. Let's take a look at this. So you can add more than one zip code. Now I got 118. So to add more than one zip code, you type in a zip code, 75225, you click the plus sign, add another zip code, and so forth. If I don't want this particular zip code, I click the X right there to the left of it, and I've eliminated 2, and I've kept 2. If I realize I want a brand new search, I go right up here to the white piece of paper with the red dash, and click, and it's all gone. So, I really like that. Notice the owner name and owner last name. That's the difference. So you can have them both there. Let's talk about street names. You want to search by more than one street name. So I'm going to put in Dorrington, Dorrington. I click the plus sign just like I would for zip code. And I put in another street name. I'll put in Van Pelt, and I click the plus sign. So as you can see, you just simply go down and add your street name, which is real easy. I'll add one more, Grantwood, and I'll add that. Now I'm going to go ahead and make sure they're in the city of Dallas. So I go to Dallas, or I go to the city box and I put in Dallas. Guess what? I can put in more than one city. If I felt there was more streets in the city of Dallas, or there's one in Mesquite, I'd hit the plus sign. I could type in Mesquite. I could type in whatever city I wanted to that's in the county of Dallas. So I'm good here. I click search, and I should, please notice my city. I've made a typo. So I need to spell Dallas correctly. Computer's a whole lot smarter than I am.
That'll make a difference.
That will. So I'm going to click search. And there we have it. Dorrington, Van Pelt, and Grantwood in Dallas County, in the city of Dallas, 204 properties. And because I have owner occupied on the screen, I'm going to sort by that. And now these properties don't have anything in there. I'd have to really investigate, but I see LLC, funding, so I'm not sure why it's not there, but these are no, owners don't live there. And again, there's the rest of them that do live there. So that's how you can search more than one street. I can do block ranges on these streets. For example, I'll do 3200-3599 and hit the plus sign. And then I'll do 8200 to 8699 and click the plus sign. This will tell the tax system, in those 3 streets, I want anything between 3200 and 3599 or 8200 and 8699. Now I could have started a big jump. I could have done 3200 here and ended at 8699. But I chose not to. I just wanted to show you the flexibility of the system. And if I do a search, I'll only get those properties on those streets that fall within the block range. And here you go. There's your information right there. I sorted by address, and they're all within the parameters I typed in. So what do you think about that, Heather? Is that pretty good?
That is pretty cool.
How are we doing on the questions? Am I answering some of them as I go along?
You are answering a few.
Good.
We've had a lot of slew of questions. Very active group. Which
Oh, good,
is
good,
great.
good, good. I love that. Is there one I can need answer now or show again, something?
I had somebody asking in reference to what's the differences on the dates when you're looking at foreclosures.
The differences on the dates.
Yes, it says here. On the screen when you were looking at foreclosures, there's
Yes.
different dates listed.
Uh-huh.
How do those relate to the foreclosure process?
Wow.
I know.
This
we
is
threw a
called
hard
this
one
is
on
called
that.
Stump the Teacher. Let me pull up a zip code 75227 and let me do a search. So we're looking at the dates. Let me open one up here and see if I can figure that out for you. No one's ever asked me that question before, so I'll see if we can answer that for you. Let me go on down here. Okay, let's see where it is. Oh, there's the last market and sales history. This is great. You'll see this on some properties, some not so much. There's the, well, this one doesn't have the foreclosure history. Well, I didn't do very good on that one, did I? I thought I asked for one that was a foreclosure. Let me do that again.
Okay.
Oh, my bad. I did bank owned. I'll do pre-foreclosure. Okay. So on some of the records, as we're waiting for these to pop up, some of these records will give you the mortgage information. Just to clarify things, you cannot see in a property record what the property sold for. You know, we're a non-disclosed state, so even on this one here, it says MLS, and if it was a sold property, I can see it because we're logged in as MLS and we need that information. But it's not out there for the consumers, and if it was just a regular tax record, I would not be able to see it because it wasn't an MLS. So let me scroll on down here. There's the listing information, and I can see that it sold back in 2004 for $49,000. So here is the last market sales date. Let me talk about this first, and then we'll go to the foreclosure history. Back in 1997, this person sold it to this person, and then in 2004, it looks like this was the seller, and Washington Mutual Bank was the buyer. Oh, and then HUD got it, and then HUD sold it to Thelma, and then Thelma Gonzalez sold it to Nora. So you see that information. Here is the foreclosure history. So this tells me the original document date was back June 9th of 2005, and they recorded something August 23rd of 2016. Well, the foreclosure filing date. So I'm just reading it as it says. They filed this on August 17th of 2016. They recorded something on the 23rd. There's the document number. And original doc date is back in 2005. That's under foreclosure history, so I'm not quite sure how that. Whoever asked that question, or if you're wanting that question, you can, let's see, what would be the best way? I guess you could email us an MLS. Oh gosh, don't everybody, well, how are we going to do that? We have a lot of people. Let's see if we can put it on our Facebook page. I'll see what we can do and find out exactly those dates, because I don't want to tell you a wrong answer, obviously. All right. Good question. Thank you. Now, many of you probably don't know that you can pull up a property and do a CMA on it. So I'm going to pull up one particular property, and we're going to pretend it's not an MLS, because it's not, and we want to see what we can find for CMA. So I'm going to do 3212 Grantwood, Grantwood. I'm going to pull it up. Let's talk about things at the top. There's the comparables. I'm going to click on the tab that says comparables. There are some default settings that I'm going to show you in just a second. This red button is 3212 Grantwood. Here it is right here on this blue line. And it found 10 of 10. Now, if you will notice right down here on the right-hand side of the screen, it says Modify. And I click it, and it says Search. So I am going to modify the number of comparables that I want. I can do as little as 5 or up to 50. I certainly wouldn't do 50. I thought 10 was pretty good. How do I want it? I want subject, distance from the subject the closest. As you can see from the drop down, the others, I could do that. I just like distance from the subject. I want to include property images, and I want data coming from both sources, tax and MLS. Pool, obviously no preference. Distance from the subject, I can go as far out as 10 miles or as little as 1/10 of a mile. I'm going to stick with a mile. I'm not going to put in any of this information. I'm going to scroll down to where it says the search time period, but just above that it says site influence. You don't want any preference. It says alley, airport, bayfront. No preference would be your choice. I can either search as far back as 12 months. However, if I wanted to go back longer than that, for example, 01/01/2012 to December 31st of 2012, I could do that. What percentage of difference do you like in square footage? 5, 10, 15 are your choices. Or you can't, you've got 5 and 10, 15 increments of 5. And mine's at 15%. That's good. I'm not going to do it by square footage. I don't want the lot area, so I leave that alone. And there's my style. I'm not even going to touch that because I don't know a bungalow from a bi-level, so I'm going to leave that alone. Land use, I'm not going to touch. It's the same as the subject. I have two choices here. If I want to save this information as my default, I click Save and Submit. Or if I just click Submit, it won't take and save the changes I made, like the date. So I'm going to click Submit. It's going to recalculate looking at 3212 Grantwood, and it's going to see what it has, what it comes up with. At this point, I can see the square footage. This one's in MLS. And if I like these, I can generate the comps report right here on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So I click Generate Comps Report, and lo and behold, here it comes. Here's my search criteria. Here is my statistics. Here is my subject property right here, the very first one, and that stays there all the time. Top right-hand corner right here, I have one single arrow. If you'll watch, this one is going to go away. This one here is going to go away when I click this arrow to the right. It's going to move carry back here, this one here, and a new one will pop up. So here I go. Come on, there we go. So every time I hit the single arrow, it gets rid of the one next to my subject property and adds another one. If I do the double arrow, I bet you've guessed it, it will get rid of 2 and add 2 more. If I want to jump to the very end, it's, let me go back. If I want to jump to the very end, it's this arrow or greater than symbol with the vertical line in front of it, and it takes me all the way to the very end. If I wanted to print this, you'll notice I have this down here. This is my address. I can close the report, but down here I want to print. I have Quick and I have Customize. Let me show you Customize. You get to pick what you want to print. I'm going to cancel that. And I can email. Yes, I can do quick or customize. Let me click quick. That's hard to say. Let me click quick. And there it is. I would suggest that you email yourself one time just to see what the quick report has. It doesn't have as much information, obviously. And I can save this if I wanted to. And again, I can pick what I want to save. All right. So that's the little CMA, which is kind of cool. But let's look up here. Let's look at the market trends. What does that tell us? The median sales price in MLS, the median list price in MLS. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further because there's some other good information down here. Here's the list price ratio in MLS, median list price in MLS. All right, so let's keep on going here. Now, this should be interesting to you. Number of sales in tax. This is information in the tax rolls. Number of sales. Zip, city, and county. Number of sales in MLS. So if you like to compare, you certainly can. So we have one just from tax, just from MLS. Sales activity in tax and MLS and so forth. Annual turnover rate. Whoa, I missed that. It went quick. Annual turnover rate in MLS and in tax. Great, great information. And there's your distressed properties. So when you click market trends, you have a lot of good information. Now, if this was your house and you wanted to see who your neighbors were, you could click the neighbors tab and you could see who your neighbors were and where they are. And you can always make the map larger and check it out. Neighborhood profile. What's in your neighborhood? A lot of this information is from the Census Bureau. The demographics, how many are married, how many are divorced. For all you single people out there, you can't find out who's single and who has a lot of money, and you can't do that. It's not a dating service. It'd be nice, but no, you can't do that.
Darn.
I know, you can't see that. It's just basic demographics and occupancy and so forth. So sometime you can spend some time on that, checking that out. The Assessor Map, I click this, and where to go? I'll open the Assessor Map. Oh dear, isn't that interesting? I'm using Internet Explorer, and there's the Assessor Map. All right, that's kind of boring, so I'm going to close that. And I'm going to go to Building Sketch. I love this. Look at this. This is great. So, there's property detail and all these wonderful tabs. I'm going to close this report, and I'm back here on Grantwood. So if we have any questions about that, just let me know. Now let's talk about the map, because we've got just a few minutes left. I'm going to click Clear, and I'm going to go to the map. I'm going to zoom in or zoom out where the map is. Just point of reference, here's downtown Dallas right here. And you have all these cool little buttons over here. Just like MLS, I can click the pencil, I can draw a polygon, and I can search in a given place on the map. This one here, I can see boundaries. And I know so many of you want to know the MLS areas. Well, if I select that, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, give it some time. There are your MLS boundaries. Heather and I happen to be sitting in Area 17, Sub-Area 11, which is right, here. Right here. Your zoomness level is really important, by the way. So there's 1711 right here. The next one, I'm going to get rid of that. The next one is the push pin. I want MLS status. This is fantastic. I'm going to click the balloon. Oh, I got to zoom in. See what it tells me to zoom in? I better follow instructions. I'm going to zoom in. I want to see active and sold for the last 3 months. I have to give it time because these are little graphics, but watch the screen carefully. I'm going to move my map around. Watch what happens. Give it a moment. You're going to see balloons appearing right before your very eyes. The green ones are active. The red ones are sold. This is great. You want to know what's going on in a particular area of town, how many solds, how many actives. Look at that great picture you see in front of you. Now I'm going to zoom in just a tad, give it a moment, and I can click on this. I'm not going to click on the balloon, but I could. Watch what happens when I click on the balloon. It tells me the address, who owns it, if it's an MLS, when it's sold. But I have some other information. I can get the size of the lot. I love this. I can click on any lot and it will tell me the size. I can tell me who owns it. I'll go over in this one over here. Doesn't have to have a balloon on it. See? I can just click any of them and get some information. So that's pretty nifty. Now I'm going to click the push pin again and get rid of that. And the next one is the trends. Very, very exciting. I want sales activity for single family. I'm going to zoom out rather far and you'll see why. That's a beautiful map. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and I'm going to go up here to, let's see, let me go up here to Carrollton. Right up here, waiting for the map. Look at your map legend here. It tells you the sales activity. I'm going to hold my control key down, and when I hold it down, I'm going to click right here at 75007. It tells me right here. This is a rolling 3 months. As of June of 2016, there's been 195 sales. Great information. 75006, control click, and there it is there, 127. So you can see your legend down here at the bottom. Now I'm almost out of time. I've got to show you some other exciting things. There's so much that you can do in tax. I encourage you to come to the 3-hour tax class where we spend a little bit more time on it, obviously. So I wanted to show you that. Yes, you can do points of interest over here. You can see I'll zoom in a little bit. If I click the binoculars, I can find the postal services and so on and so forth. I can find all of that. I can get driving directions. But I need to show you how to do mailing labels and how to export, because that's really, really important. So I'm going to go up here to the folder because I've saved a search. Effective year built. It's one that I named. To save search criteria, as I have done, you put in your search criteria, you select the save button, and you give it a name. Save it as a search. So that's what I did, and I called it effective year built, and I am going to click search and see what I get. Now I'm still on the map. I'm going to change it to grid, and I have 18. So I want to produce mailing labels. Down at the bottom of the screen, it says create labels, right down here, create labels. I have a choice. What label do I want? 3 across or 2 across? They all have 10 down. I'll select the 5160s, 3 across and 10 down. I want to use mixed case. I don't want all capital letters. Now I have to decide, do I want to send it to the tax billing address or do I want to send it to that physical address that were built in 1983 and so forth, whatever my search criteria was, which is use property address. I want to show the current owner's name, but I'd also like to create a custom label or current, R-E-S-I-D-E-N, current resident. So I'm good there. You get 7,500 labels a month. I've exported this month. I have that much remaining, and I am doing 18 right now. I'm exporting 18. I'm going to click create. I'm going to allow this, of course. I'm going to wait. Wait just a little bit. And oh goodness gracious, where did my labels go? Well, don't you just love the real world when it does that? Let's
So
try
see,
that
folks,
again.
It's not just you.
No, let's try that again. Where did it go? Create. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to open it. It opens up in Microsoft Word, and there, ladies and gentlemen, are your labels. How easy was that? 3 across, 10 down. There you have it. And you can save this, put it in a file, print them out on mailing labels. We suggest Avery. That's what it was set up for. Now let's talk about export. You don't want to do mailing labels, but you've hired somebody to do it for you. So I'm going to click Export right down here, next to Create Labels. Click Export. I'm going to customize it. I don't want my grid. That's not what the person that's going to make my mailing labels, they don't want that. I'm going to click Customize. I have already done this in the past, and I want you to see I have some things here that I certainly don't want for exporting. If you were going to have someone do your addresses for you, you wouldn't want all this information. You would pick things like address, city, state, and zip. So let's see what I've got right here. I'm going to find address. Where's my address? Let's see. It's called street name. Standardized house number, that's the house number, and then the street name, there it is. And then I could pick the city, state, and zip. I'll do city, state, and zip. And there it is. I'm going to save my export, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give it class, because I can't think of what search that was. And I save it. And it'll come up right here in just a second. But you'll notice I have a couple of others. So if I want to open this, I click on Load, and then I click on Export. And I click Open, and it opens up an Excel spreadsheet. And then you can do with it as you need to. You can save it as a file and send it to whoever you need to send it to. So that's pretty easy. Let me kind of go through that again. You do a search and you get results on your screen, and you either create your labels or you export. Now I'm going to split my grid to show you one other thing that you can do. You can email. Notice I have the map and the grid on the screen. So I'm going to go down here. It's going to say print/email. And I can do print, and if I select print, it's going to ask me in just a moment what I want to print. And it's taking its time, and that's okay. So I will move on with that. I'll close that. I'll go ahead and do, I'll go up here where it says print email grid. I'll select that, and then you'll notice map only, grid, grid only. You can pick what you want to email. You can do the same with print, grid, and map. You want the map, the grid, or the grid only. So as you can see, there's just so much you can do in the tax system. You can search more than one county at a time. You can do a simple quick search by a name or a company name or an address. You can even search by MLS number. I don't think I'd do that too much in tax. My search, you can customize your search screen as I have done. And then if you click the yellow folder, you will notice the ones that have a padlock. There is the standard foreclosure search that has been set up for you. I'll show you what that looks like. Foreclosure, there's the auction date, the recording date, so you can do that one. Here is the owner or seller search. You can search by the seller if you wanted to. So again, there's many, many options for you. And if you want to save anything, you click the save button. You can save the form, or you can save your search criteria. You simply have to give it a name, and you can go back on the folder and see there's my Oaklawn Heights search that I saved, the criteria. When it comes up, then I can do the search, and here it is right here, Oaklawn Heights. I can do the search. So how are we doing? Do we have any final questions for us today? I hope I answered most of your questions.
We've had a slew of questions, but
Good.
I've been answering most of them.
Good, I'm glad.
The only one I didn't get to that someone asked, is there a way to search for distressed homes? It's the only one I didn't get to.
Distressed, which we would call foreclosure
So it would
auction.
fall
No,
under the
that would
foreclosure.
fall under that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, in MLS, you could search in property description, asterisk, distressed, asterisk.
Yes.
Yeah, you could do that. But in tax, you can't. So I hope this hour has given you some good information that you're going to put in place when you search tax. As always, you have all of us in the MLS department to help you. Do not hesitate to call us Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. We will be glad to assist you in any way that we can. Just in case you don't have our phone number, it is 214-540-2755. Again, that's 214-540-2755. Now, I do want to remind you that October 17th, we're going to have another exciting webinar. We're not quite sure yet what we're going to be teaching, are we, Heather?
Nope, we'll be doing one.
Yeah, we got, you'll be hearing about that. Please follow us on Facebook. Again, watch the classes. You know, when you go to mymetrotex.com, right down here where it says view all classes. Over here on the left, if you just want MLS classes, you leave everything unchecked and you just select MLS, and there's the webinar that we did just a moment ago. And our next one is October, and we're not quite sure exactly what we're going to do yet. We might have a few surprises up our sleeve. We don't know yet. So again, I just thank you so much. Do we have any more parting questions? Again, I hope you found something of value today. So don't forget to give us a call. And Heather and I, again, thank you for attending, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.